This is Chris from Team Innovate. Just basically coming at you guys with a deck profile. This is a little bit updated from my last video. It comes out soon, or it came out like really soon compared to the last one, because I wanted to give you guys a significantly more structured, significantly less drunk deck profile of the Inzektors. So yeah, I'm gonna go at it. Remember to rate. Well, you don't rate anymore. Thumbs up, subscribe when you have subscribers, and yeah, I hope you guys like this video. Thumbs up, give me comments. I love feedback, and that's how it's gonna work. So yeah, Inzektors. You guys pretty much know what they do already. I'll give you like a link to the Wikipedia page. The first things, I'm going to start with monsters, magics, traps, then the extra deck. I won't be getting to side today because, you know, there's good cards to generally side, but sides always do change depending on what tournament you're going to and what the matter is. So yeah, first off, 2 effect failures. This is almost self-explanatory. Effect failure did fall off a little bit ago, you know, it's kind of as a staple. But now, especially with all the little wind-up hype going on, I personally, so about it. But with all the wind-up hype going on, and then Inzektors, lots of people are going to be playing those because you only need Hornets, whether they only drop 1 box or no. Like Gale, you still need only a fish, like, for the most part, a couple of hollow cards to really go for this deck. So, yeah, because of Inzektors, wind-ups, this is good. Also, effect failure effectively stops Tour Guide, and you guys know how Tour Guide either fetches that Sangan if they don't have the exact best setup, or in the case of Rabbit, it will search their Rabbit out or whatever they need for the last piece of their puzzle. So effect failure, it kind of fell off, generally good now. 2 maxis. I know lots of people are saying 2 effect failure, 3 maxis, but I do find that, yes, I agree with the fact that maxi, if you maxi and you draw into another maxi, well, you just trade it off and you're set up for the next special something. But what I disagree with is when you end up facing things like Dark Worlds, when they still crop up, Inzektor decks, when they still crop up, decks that just maxi is virtually useless. You never know where you're going to find that random hero beat inside of the game, and it's just going to wreck your day up because you weren't expecting hero beat. Stuff like that. Of course, we all know that regional meta is different than, you know, YCS meta. But at the same time, you never know when you will go up against the deck where these will be useless. And so I would rather keep the third one in the sideboard. 1 Gokapon. Now, for you guys that don't know what Gokapon does, it says when this card is short of a battle and sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 insect type monster with 5 or 1,500 attack or less from your deck to your hand. Now, yes, it does have to be destroyed by battle, but at the same time, what Inzektors lack in general is a good turn 1 play. Now, understand if you're playing Ryos, yes, you can put out Ryos. But you'd have to understand that Ryo just isn't as effective as it used to be. Let's start with it. Dark Worlds. Yes, they can get hurt by a first turn Ryo sometimes, but if they've already got the discard engine like Trans Archfiend and Graph in hand, Ryo gets pooped on. Rabbits have access to 3 1900 beaters and usually 2 Forbidden Lance, not to mention 2 Smashing Grounds. They will wipe Ryo off the board. Inzektors. We love Ryo. Ryo doesn't stop us. Period. Ryo is a little bit outdated. I mean, if you guys go on Alter Reality, you can see Fraser Smith's article. Doom Caliber might see more play than Thunder King Ryo in this format, just because Thunder King Ryo can be played around a lot more easily. It doesn't hurt as many decks as it used to. So, Gokapon, Battle Searcher, but yeah, it provides a good first turn play, solid first turn play. It searches any one of my Dragonflies, any one of my Hornets, and it also searches out Maxi, which is important. Birdman, because you guys all know the synergy of Birdman with Inzektors. You get those 3 Inzektors on the field, you bounce the Dragonfly back to your hand, you bounce whatever you want to keep on the field, or keep for next turn back to your hand. And then you go for Trish, you go for Brionic, you Exceed, you do what you want. Birdman just has lots of versatility in this deck. Sangan, it's the best searcher in the game, best generic searcher in the game, you guys already know. Of course, the Inzektor engine. I got 3 Centibeats. No need to really go into that. 3 Dragonfly. You guys, like I said, know what those do. 3 Hornets. There we go. And then you have Hopper. Now, lots of people don't play Hopper, but like I said before, this deck seriously lacks first turn plays. And Hopper, unlike Hornet, if you compare their effects, Hornet says once per turn, yeah, blah blah. You can, while this card is equipped to a monster, you can send this equipped card to the graveyard and target 1 card on the field, destroy that target. If you're going first, you know you can destroy your own cards, and if you're going first, your opponent won't have cards for you to destroy. And so pretty much, that's this is a less favorable turn 1 play. However, Grasshopper says that when it's detached, the card equipped with it can swing directly if no other monsters can attack. You're not going to need to attack if you're going first turn. This gives a favorable first turn. And people are like, well, what happens if you draw it later on when you're not set up? Well, it's a 1700 beater. When equipped with Hornet, it's a 22 beater. And the fact that it is another Inzektor, because sometimes you will find yourself lacking Inzektor pieces when you need to draw them. So early game, if you're not drawing Hornets, this guy can be essentially a 4th Hornet. First turn, he starts you up. Later in game, he's just a beater. That's why I run that one. One Armageddon Knight. Now, Armageddon Knight, lots of people playing at it too. The problem I have with Armageddon Knight, why I switched it to 1 Hopper Armageddon Knight, is because Armageddon Knight's good. Armageddon Knight isn't good early game play. Good mid game play if they somehow remove your Hornets or if you just want to do some shenanigans. But later in the duel where you want to draw an Inzektor or you want to draw spells or traps, because you have no real problem getting Inzektors to your hand. BT dubs, I feel like most of the battle of making an Inzektor deck is getting consistency. You don't need to work on their key combos because their key combos are black and white. You need to work on being able to profit off of them and protect your ass while you're doing it. So Armageddon Knight, sometimes when you want to draw the nuts and you draw Armageddon Knight. And a 1400 beater is not game. 1400 beater is, well, a 1400 beater. We all know how it goes. You get Mystic Tomato. I run one of him as well because, like I said, you don't want to draw him when you want to draw the nuts. It's pretty decent. You guys already know what it is. Gigamantis, some people do not play it. I like Gigamantis at 1. I don't like it at 2 because it can clog up your hand. You guys all know Gigamantis can equip itself from your hand to an Inzektor. And what this leads to is massive burst plays. Its effect is that when it's sent to the graveyard as an equipped spell card, when it's equipped, you can special summon an Inzektor from the grave. And that pretty much means stupid, mad shenanigans. Now, be wary, if you get Mirror Forest, it won't get its effect. If you get Destroyed by Battle, it won't get its effect. But if you got Black Rose or the MST it or Heavy Stormed it will get its effect. And so what that pretty much leads to is, let's say you've already got a Damsel in Grave. Or, my bad, Dragonfly, I'm so used to the OCG names. It happens. You have a Dragonfly on the field, a Dragonfly in the grave. You have a Hornet in the grave. Common burst play one might do, equip Hornet to Dragonfly. From your hand, equip Gigamantis. Activate the effect of Dragonfly, destroying Hornet, or sending Hornet to the grave to destroy Gigamantis. Now what happens is, you get 2 special summons because this dude had 2 equip cards leave it. So you can Cinebeat, you can Cinebeat. I find that sometimes that's an overextension. Sometimes, especially if you're going to go into the Exceed play, you might just get another Hornet just to special summon more. Or just to, so you can put that in the graveyard so you have more than 1 Hornet just in case they somehow remove one. But, since Gigamantis went to the grave, that Dragonfly in grave becomes field presence. Now you've got 3 more destructions. By the time you're done with those 3 destructions, you might have another thing to the field. Or, depending on your field setup and what you want to do, one of those. At this point, you can go nuts. If you have stuff removed already, you can go Leviair, pull stuff back. You can go double Leviathan in the Giga Ant so brilliant and wipe out life points right then and there. Actually, is that game? That's 5,600 plus 2,100. It's almost game. If you've done any damage, it's game. So, yeah. Gigamantis leads to OTKs. Of course, you got Gores. You know why you'd have Gores. Then, last but not least, Dark Arm Dragon. I do not run BLS. I understand. I told you guys what I think about Ryo, and I do not agree with running 3 Effect Veilers. You will, just for the reason you wouldn't run 3 Max Cs. In fact, Max Cs are more live than Effect Veilers any game. And you want to run 3 Max or Effect Veilers just so you can have BLS. BLS ends up dead in most of your hands. Now, I mean, if you have more of a hybrid, or if you just decide to put in Cyber Dragons, Thunder King Ryos, 2 Effect Veilers, 3 Effect Veilers, that may not be your case. But, for me. 1 pot of Avarice, because this deck, it is possible to run out of Steam. It's not even possible. It's a possibility most prolonged games that you will run out of Steam and pots necessary. Foolish, you need to get that Hornet Grave. Book, I mean, Book is just all-around utility. You guys know what it is. Dark Hole, staple. MST, staple. MST, staple. Heavy Storm, staple. Reborn, staple. I mean, you guys know what those do. For the spell, or for the traps, I've got, Solemn Judgment. I got the Solemn Brigade, pretty much. You guys know what that? Torrential, staple. Inzektors have no problem screwing up shit your turn. But the issue they have is staying alive your opponent's turn. So you have to run the back row protection needed to protect your smaller weenies. So double D prison, mirror force. What I've been fooling around with is lots of people have been using Foolish Chain. I do like Foolish Chain, but what I do not like about Foolish Chain...
I think you mean Fiendish Chain.
Fiendish Chain, my bad, I said Foolish Chain. Jeez, I'm weird. Anyway, the thing I don't like about Fiendish Chain is the fact that they can chain the MST to it. Oopsie buys. That doesn't happen much, but it can happen. If push comes to shove, Rabbit decks can Forbidden Lance. There's multiple things that can go wrong with, like, Fiendish Chain. That's why, for this deck, I run double Divine Wrath. It's a bit of a testing stage right now, but this deck has plenty of cards. At any given moment, you can ditch a Hornet. And the best part about this is that since Inzektors don't target when they do their equipping, you could have a Hornet hand, a Hornet graveyard, or just a Hornet ham. They could go Effect Veiler. See, this is not only just for things like Rabbit or Logia and Dalka. This is for things like Effect Veiler. They can Effect Veiler your Dragonfly. You activate Divine Wrath, discard the Hornet in your hand that you were going to equip for Dragonfly, and still equip it once Divine Wrath resolves. So, good is good. You have, what, 3 Hornets you could discard. I run Grasshopper. If you don't want to equip Gigamantis from hand, you could just discard Gigamantis. I mean, it goes on and on. Dead Miss Tomato late game, dead Armageddon Knight late game. I mean, dead Gokapon late game, dead Thing. And like, if the Effect Failure is dead for whatever matchup you're running in, you can do it. There's just endless opportunities. So Divine Wrath. Like I said, you won't really want to use it on Max E because this deck has a bunch of optional special summon anyway, but you could if you needed to. You could use it on Effect Failure, which is what really screws this deck up. You could also use it on, I mean, Logia, Dalka, just things that are pains in the ass. You can use it against other Inzektors, and so that's how that works. 1 Royal Decree. I have 1 in the main, 2 in the side. Royal Decree turns all your opponent's back row into insect food, essentially. Miracle Grow. So, you pop Royal Decree, you go nuts. Trap Dust Shoot, because it's Trap Dust Shoot. For the extra, Ain't So Brilliant. Well, my bad, that's the OCG name. You can tell I look at stuff before that happens. Number 20, Giga Brilliant. Pretty much, you guys know it's a 3-star, or rank 3 exceed. It boosts their attack by 800, or, oh my gosh, I'm so off of it. 300. It can do it twice because it has 2 exceed materials. And pretty much, it can lead to OTK. Sometimes if you swarm the field and you go for this, you can swarm a little bit more. You can put it up and just put that extra 300 damage on board. 300 damage, if you have 5 monsters, that's an extra 1,500 life point net gain. Leviair, because people like to remove stuff, and this deck spams 3-star with the rank 3s exceeds like nobody's business, so that's how you do that. You got Leviathans, because this deck needs a beater. I like Zen mains, but I'm going to be honest, I don't want to spend the money on Zen mains, and also, I kind of just, it's so-so for me. Zen mains is good. If I had it, I'd run it, but I'm not in any hurry to get it, because this deck can manage fine just without it. Not even trying to be salty about it. If I had one, I'd use it, but it's just not that much of a rush. It's not a need, it's a want. Utopia, because I do have 4 stars, and if I'm Monster Reborn, stuff like that, you never know. I have Hopper, I have, what's it called, Miss Tomato, I have Armageddon Knight. Armageddon Knight's really vulnerable sometimes, and so yeah, you just scoop it up into Utopia. Once Utopia has no more materials on it, you've got the Utopia Ray. That's what that's for. And plus, if you ever game somebody using Utopia Ray's effect, that's boss status. Like, if you have less than 1,000 life points and you game someone Utopia Ray, like, it's just, it's bragging rights forever. Armor Run, because I do run Effect Veiler. Catastor, because I run Birdman, I can do it with the 2 stars. Librarian, same reason, you never know. Chain Dragon, because this deck puts out 6 stars like nobody's business. Got the Chain Dragon. This thing, for any of you guys that don't know its effect, once per turn it can suck up a monster on your opponent's side of the field like an equip card. Just in case you've already used up all your effects for an Inzektors and they've got that stupid Spirit Reaper on the field, this is Spirit Reaper killer. You target it for the effect, it's just like poop, and it goes away. You can suck up their strongest monster on the field and start swinging out the weakest ones. It's pretty much, running back and it's pretty silly. Then, actually, like, I've played Rabbit, and I have sucked up a monster. Then, since that monster is destroyed by battle, if this thing would be, I've collided with Logia, destroyed the equipped card to this and destroyed their Logia, and then was able to keep going. It's silly. Brionic, of course. Scrap Ice Stream for a beater. Black Rose for a nuke. And this deck puts out Trish well. So, some of the things I'd like to talk about right before I end this video, because it's already 15 minutes long, is the deck. Matchups are pretty decent. I played against windups. Now you guys all know windups is kind of a first turn, first hand kind of deck. My matches with windups, the most recent one was I had tour guides, tour bus, stuff like that. Well, not even tour bus, just tour guides. I basically round 1 got off his combo, couldn't draw out of it. In 4 turns, he swung for my life points damage. Round 2, I had my sides. It was over. I sided in Gozen. I sided in I have the Effect Failures, I had my Max C's, I had Gozen, and I had 1 DD Crow. It did work. He couldn't get the clay off, and I just kept smacking every turn. Game 3, he got the combo off first turn again. However, since the deck doesn't really, put out many beaters and stuff like that, I just drew out of the hole and beat him for game 3. Against Rabbit, Rabbit's a hard matchup because, Rabbit Rabbit is just a hard matchup for most decks in general. Though my Rabbits, it's favorable. It's like the least favorable matchups out of it out of the current meta, but at the same time, Rabbit it's hard, but I can go against it. Like I said, I sided in Gozen. I had the Divine Wrath. Well, I haven't faced Rabbit with the Divine Wrath yet. Previously they were bottomlesses, but you guys know if that doesn't happen first turn, if you don't set the bottoms before they get out the Logia or the Dalka, that kind of sucks. But if you have the Divine Wrath, I guess later on when they try to use the effect, you can stop that. So Rabbit's a hard matchup, but nothing really has an easy matchup against Rabbit. Then you have other Inzektors. Little hard. That's why I had to edit this deck for other Inzektors. But yeah, there's just it's pretty decent. It's consistent. I've been working with it for a little bit to make sure it was consistent, and I just want pretty much your opinions. So yeah, remember to thumbs up. Remember to rate. You don't rate anymore. Remember to comment. Remember to subscribe. Definitely subscribe. And yeah, I hope you guys liked it. Chris from Team Innovate signing out.